Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy, coming to you Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas out there to everybody. Last night we had the last official day for the NHL before this Christmas break. So all the boys get to go home and have some family time, get away from the ice for a bit. Some exciting hockey last night. Um, Want to just kind of take a quick look here before we all kind of shut it down for the holiday and just take a look at where the playoffs sit. If the playoffs were to end today, I think some kind of interesting and curious matchups so we can talk about. First, just want to start by doing a quick look at what we saw last night around the league. Uh, Boston Bruins 4, Washington Capitals 1 there from the TD Garden. Devils 5-0 over the New York Rangers. The Winnipeg Jets 5-2 over Matthew-less Toronto Maple Leafs. Blues shut out the Red Wings 4-0. Same score there for the Lightning and the Panthers 4-0 Tampa. Pittsburgh putting up a 7 on the Philadelphia Flyers, winning that game 7-3. Blue Jackets 5-4 over the Canadians. The Buffalo Sabres with a win. Holy smokes, Christmas came early in Buffalo. 7-1 there over the Islanders. They are on the island. Predators getting a win 5-2 over Carolina. Minnesota Wild getting back to their winning ways, beating Chicago 4-3. Vancouver Canucks 4-3 over the Sharks. Stars getting a win in Utah 3-2. And the Golden Knights finish out the night 3-1 victors over the Anaheim Ducks. So just a few little takeaways from those games starting in Boston. Just thought this was a maybe the best 60-minute defensive effort that we've seen out of the group this season. I just Zadorov to me just was all over the ice with some speed. He was just on it. I think maybe his best game as a Bruin. It was a tough matchup. Washington plays both with physicality and with speed, and one of the better scoring teams in the league. I just thought the Boston defense, collectively played very, very well to limit their chances. I think they only had, I don't have it in front of me, 11 or 12 shots on the night, which is crazy. I mean, earlier, Boston was giving up 15 shots a period. So you just kind of thought this could be a tough matchup. Now, Washington did play back to back nights. So you do wonder if they were maybe a little fatigued coming in. But I just thought all around it was a great, great effort. Starting that third period, though, did not start very well for the Bruins. Oliver Wahlstrom taking a 5-minute major and a game misconduct about 10 seconds into the period. Just, a hit on the numbers into a bad area of the boards. Blood involved, so it was the right call. I know that I think Brickley said, "Oh, I didn't really quite hit him quite on the numbers," but he hit him on the numbers. It wasn't the most vicious hit that we've seen, but it's a bad hit, and you can't take that kind of penalty. So right call. And at that point, as a Bruins fan, you're just like, all right, we're toast because we're already down David Pastrnak, who also did not finish the game. So a little bit of concern about him. But the boys did a heck of a job killing that 5 minutes off. I don't think they got a shot. Maybe Washington got one shot on that 5-minute major, but just a crazy, crazy game. Great way to end, this part of the season for the Boston Bruins. Devils, moving on to the Devils 5-0 win yesterday over the struggling New York Rangers. This was the first game of the day. No Chris Kreider for the Rangers. Apparently, he was a healthy scratch. That's something I did not have on my bingo card this year, that Kreider would ever be a healthy scratch. But it's a mess in New York right now. Any Rangers fans, like, what do you want to see happen here? Like, does the coach have to go? Do you just have to start, trading more players out the door? Some of these veteran guys. Is it the GM? Does Drury need to go? I don't know. It's a mess. Of course, Devils are just such a dominant team right now, so not surprised they get that win, but fairly dominant there for New Jersey. Jets picking up the win there against Toronto 5-2, making them the best team points wise in the league, 51 points for them. So they would be your President's Trophy winner if the season ended today. And of course, no Austin Matthews for the Maple Leafs. So I'll be a little bit curious to see. It's an injury that he's been dealing with most of the year. I think going back to training camp, he did miss some time earlier on. And of course, you hope this doesn't linger for the Maple Leafs. He's a obviously, an all-world player, and you don't replace that kind of talent on the ice. So, any Maple Leaf fans, I'm sure you're all kind of holding your breath, hoping this doesn't linger all year and that he can get back on the ice, hopefully after the holiday. Of course, a matchup down there in Florida with Tampa and the Panthers, 4-0, pretty dominant effort here by the Bolts. One takeaway here, Kucherov gets a game misconduct as well, a knee-on-knee hit on Matthew Tkachuk. It looked bad, and it didn't look intentional necessarily. I mean, because those knee-on-knee hits, we know the the offending player, he's just as susceptible to get an injury there as the victim, in that situation. So Kucherov is shown off the ice. Luckily, Tkachuk was able to finish the game, and looks like he kind of avoided, dodged a bullet on that one too. Obviously, huge players for their clubs. Kucherov does get the first goal of the game, though. That does end up being the game winner, only playing in those 6 minutes. So good to see Kachuk back on his feet. And just again, as a Bruins fan, I don't mind seeing Florida lose. Right? They've won enough. They've won enough. Pittsburgh, 7-3 there over Philadelphia. Struggling Philadelphia team right now, but noteworthy here. Crosby with 4 points, a goal, and 3 assists. He's just kind of ageless at this point. I mean, nothing really surprises me with what this guy does. He's the older he gets, seems like he's just getting better and better, and just not slowing down. So, just kind of looking and at the standings right now, Pittsburgh is, yeah, I mean, they're 37 points. They're in fourth place in the Metro. Probably a little higher up the board than I would have had them. Um, and right now they're 6-3-1 over their last 10. So, they're giving themselves an opportunity to hang around that playoff window, which is what they've done the last couple of years. So, be curious to see if they can continue to do that and can keep the winning up there for themselves. Moving down to the island there, where the Sabres 7-1. Talk about getting out some frustration. They went after it, finally got a win, breaking. I think it was it a 13 game losing streak? Did it get to 13 games? They're now, of course, 12, 19-4, only 28 points on the season. Their playoff hopes are pretty much done, but nice to see them break that streak and get back to the winning ways. So, good on them. Then the last game I'll talk about, Nashville picking up a win, 5-2 over a very tough Carolina team. Marchessault on that one, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. So looking good there. Listen, Nashville still, kind of way out of the playoff picture right now. Only 29 points on the season. They are in seventh place. They have won 2 in a row. So we'll see. Can they claw their way back into this thing? I don't know if they can. There's a lot of teams in front of them, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So we are going to close out all that there, and we're going to come back up here and take a look at this board. It's a fancy little board I have up here. Look at some of these matchups that we could potentially have. Some that are, movies we've seen before, of course, and others I think that would be pretty fantastic on the ice. First one I'll talk about is that New Jersey Ottawa. Just seeing Ottawa holding on to that wild card too. That's pretty exciting. This is a team that's been down for a lot of years. We of course talked about Linus Allmark yesterday and just how he's been performing. Would love to see them make the playoffs. This would be awesome if they could get into that wild card situation. I do think they would be handled fairly easily by New Jersey. They're just a house right now, but yeah, it'd be a fun one. It'd be a fun one to watch. Yeah, the Battle of Florida. We just talked about the game last night, but Florida Tampa would be lined up for a matchup with Tampa being the wild card one and Florida being the top of the Atlantic right now. Again, a matchup we've seen over the years. This would be curious. I think this would be a 7 game series. This would be a lot of fun. This would be a lot of high end talent, a lot of goal scoring, along with some really good goaltending too. There are 2 very good goaltenders in that series. Washington, Carolina. This would be another fun one, stylistically very different, I think, than what you would see maybe with Florida and Tampa. This would be a black and blue kind of series, in my opinion. There'd be some goal scoring, but there'd be a lot of defense. There'd be a lot of fighting, a lot of hitting. These are two teams that really don't like each other. Um, so yeah, that'd be worthwhile to watch. Not worthwhile watching if you like offense. I think if you like fighting and hitting and 2-to-1 type of games, that would be the series for you. And then another movie we've seen a lot over the years, Toronto Boston. Listen, Toronto fans don't want to hear it, but they're gonna have to beat Boston one of these years, right? I mean, if you're gonna continue to be in that 2-3, matchup with the Bruins, at some point, you're gonna have to get by them. I would say that for the Maple Leafs, this is probably their best chance to do it. Boston, listen, they're playing better. Nice win last night, right? They're starting to figure some things out, post coaching change. I still don't necessarily believe that Boston has the scoring depth to really go on a huge, huge run at this point. Um, this might be one year where if Toronto can figure out their goaltending a little bit, they're a little banged up there, get Matthews healthy. Hey, maybe this is the year they finally do it. I personally won't be cheering for that, but at some point you just assume it has to happen, right? It just has to happen. I think all four of those, for very different reasons, would all be really fun first round matchups. Going out west, a couple surprises here. Seeing Dallas in the wild card two right now. Yeah, not where I had them in my predictions. I thought they'd be much higher up the board. They still might be as the season goes on, but if you're in Winnipeg, there you are, top of the league, and you get Dallas in the first round. It's like, oh, like that'd be that'd be a tough matchup. You know, I'm a big believer in Dallas, so I think that would be a really, really fun series. Vegas and Vancouver. The Vancouver having that wild card one position. I think this would also be a fun one. You'd have again a lot of scoring, a lot of high end talent out there. That could be a decent one. Minnesota, Colorado. I don't have a great feel for. Truth be told, I don't know how that series would go. Minnesota did break their 4-game losing streak last night. I'm still not a huge believer in them. I do like what they've done. I've been surprised by their effort this year. I still probably need to see a little bit more out of them. Colorado, they just have the pedigree. They have Nate McKinnon. I think that would be maybe Colorado rolling over them, much like they've done in the past. And then, here we go. It's not the playoffs in the NHL if you don't have an Edmonton LA Kings first round matchup, is it? Like, if you don't have that matchup, just don't have the playoffs, right? Because it comes around every April where Edmonton and LA face off in the first round. And much like Boston and Toronto, the Kings have at some point had to get by this team, right? They have to. I don't think they will. I think it'll be, again, more Groundhog Day type of thing for this Kings team if they end up in that matchup. Um, we can have some commentary about is the playoff format, you working for the league. We go all the way back, and for those who don't know, how it basically works is the top three teams in each division make the playoffs, and then the two next best teams in each conference make the playoffs with the two um, division winners getting the two wildcard teams, and then divisional matchups, in those 2, 3 for each division. So it has led to a lot of repetitive series. Toronto, Boston, Edmonton, and LA. Is that the right fit for the league still? I think what they were going for was more regional matchups to kind of create more interest. I'd be curious to do the board if it was just a 1 through 8 straight, which a lot of people have been pining for to maybe get some different matchups. Um, I think what the league wanted was, again, more of those regional matchups, keeping it kind of in market. But I think you've had enough of that throughout the years. And I think in the regular season, you see these teams enough. I don't know. I'd like to see them go to 1 to 8, but quite honestly, how many of the matchups would change? Probably not many. So it is what it is. It's what we have to work with for now. And yeah, I think this would be a very fun, very exciting first round if we get anything close to this. So that's what I have today, guys. Just a real quick one. Going to be taking a little hiatus here from the podcast. Got, of course, Christmas, and I'll have my little kid here for the balance of the week. So Looking forward to that. I will say just one last note, if you are looking for any Christmas Eve services, my home church, White Pine Community Church in Cumberland, is having 2 services today, being held at the Greeley Center for the Arts. They're at the Greeley High School in Cumberland. Um, American Idol finalist Julia Gagnon are going to be there performing during those services. First one is at 2 p.m. and they have a second one at 4 p.m. So I won't be able to attend. I'll be with family, but if you are looking for a great way to spend part of this afternoon, go and if you're in the area, 303 Main Street there in Cumberland, 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So, with that said, please, everybody, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I do thank you so much for all the love and all the support here on the channel. And if you do like what you are seeing and hearing here, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And until next time, be kind, show love, and God bless.